You're listening to The Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell, and co-host Keelan Harvey on Alternative Talk AM 1150. Now, back to the show with local mortgage experts Tina Mitchell and Keelan Harvey.
Welcome back to the Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell.
And co-host Keelan Harvey. Your
local mortgage experts right here on 1150 AM KKNW, the Saturday, August 11th show. We are here to help you build a strong financial blueprint 1 week and one show at a time. If you're hearing our show at a different time or day, you are listening to a rebroadcast, but we're here to connect you with the guests that we have on the show today. Please call the show at 1-855-400-1150. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150 or online at themoneyhour.com. In studio right now, Britt Wibmer with Avenue Properties, the Seattle shutdown. Britt, thank you. I was kind of just hanging there with like the Seattle shutdown. Thanks for coming in, Britt.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be back.
And a little bit about Britt. Britt is the principal broker at Britt Wibmer Real Estate Group, Avenue Properties. Equipped with 15 back-to-back years as a top producer, broker, Britt capitalizes on her experience, her Rolodex of her strong negotiation skills to help clients achieve their real estate objectives. Focused on West Bellevue and the greater Seattle area, Britt provides a luxury real estate experience at all price points. She also provides complimentary staging, professional organizational help, and home prep project management that helps her clients get their home ready seamlessly and easily. Britt's passion is maximizing her clients' real estate investments and making each and every real estate journey a positive one.
So, Britt, we're hearing generally that there's a market shift. So you're on the front lines. I'd love to hear, what are you seeing?
Well, about 2 months ago, actually, it was back in May when the Amazon head tax thing came out. That's when the whole thing kind of came to a slow grind. We had been seeing so much, multiple offers, so many more buyers than there were sellers. And then suddenly, and I don't know that that's necessarily the cause, but at that point, listings just kept coming out and buyers just took a back seat. So we have seen a market slowdown. We've seen an absolute increase in inventory. We're now up to about 1.7 months of inventory, whereas back in November, December, we were at half a month. So it feels like a huge amount of inventory. It does feel slower, but in the real scheme of things, we're getting more toward a balanced market.
Yeah, which is really good. I mean, that's what we want to aim for, is to have that balanced market. And, I love what you said with the Amazon and the media, because really in the media space, not here as much, but majority of the media space, it is fear-based, and fear-based changes consumers' confidence, and then that has a compound effect there and how it's going to affect our market. So yes, I think you're definitely right that has something to do with it. So Britt, what other reasons can you think of for this shift in the market?
Well, we've had such a long run of a lack of inventory, a huge number of buyers moving into the neighborhoods, into the city of Seattle. And so it's the combination of people waiting on the sidelines a little bit, the fact that it's summertime. August is generally my slowest month of the year. And it's interest rates. That's been one of the things that I've been hearing out there by buyers that are keeping them on the sidelines a bit.
And Caitlin, we're in the industry doing mortgages every single day. And the, interest rates, there's been such, a huge increase in interest rates starting at the beginning of January, when rates were 3 3/4 and now we're sitting at 4 3/4. So a % increase in rate. And the funny thing is really the difference in the mortgage payment is not as extreme as you may think that it is. But just the fact that they're increasing and it's dropping that buying potential a little bit when they're already tight and strapped in what they can do on their own personal payment objectives. So yes, Brett, I agree that's a big piece of it.
I think it's the psychology too. People say interest rates going up, and it's like that fear of missing out thing. And selling your home. You're at the top of the market. Am I going to get the most money for it? And missing the bus. Like you don't want to be that guy where the market goes back down and you don't get the top dollar for it. So a lot of people are wondering. Have we hit the top of the market? Do you think, or?
I think we have.
Yeah.
On this cycle, just all the indicators are there. We've all been waiting on bated breath for the top, and you can only ever see the top when you're looking backwards.
Yeah.
And I don't think that we're going to see a huge crash at all, and we'll talk about that a little bit later in this chat, I think. But I think that we've seen the top of the market.
And I love how you disclosed it with this cycle, because we've all been in the industry for many years. I've been over 2 decades, and I have to say that I really do believe that I have seen every market and every cycle. And, guaranteed in real estate that the market will always go up and it will always go down, have a flat. There's going to be that movement in the market. But it really is the safest investment because it's something that you're always going to have unless you're renting. So it really doesn't matter if you don't time the market perfectly, as long as you're not forced to sell in a bad market and you're not reinvesting, correct?
Correct. And what I'm not saying that prices will never go higher than they are right now. I'm just saying that you can't expect to have a 17% gain year by year for the next 5 years.
Yes. Yeah. No, I think that's so important, Britt. So some people are asking if we're heading for a crash. How do you answer that question when you're talking with your buyers and your sellers?
There's absolutely not a chance that we're headed for a crash. And the reason is the way that mortgages have been given out or applied for.
Yes.
You can't give out a mortgage, but how they've
back
been
before
applied
the financial crisis, they gave it out a little bit,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah, a little
I
bit.
was given, I think I had 5 houses at one time, and even I had a reverse arm mortgage. So, I've been there and I've enjoyed those bizarre mortgages. But, having just bought a house back in November, boy, it is stringent. And they do not give loans to people who can't qualify. So because of that, unless people are starting to lose their jobs everywhere, there's no way that we could have a crash.
Yeah, I love that, and it's so true that the issue was the lack of thought process behind and how you were lending when you were doing zero down loans, stated income loans with no job, no credit. I mean, just really anything went. And when the market shifted a little bit and people just decided whether it was strategic or not to walk away from their home. So we've really got that safeguard this time around. And you can ask, listening, you may not know, but if you look at the real estate market and the employment market, they always follow each other. So most people can predict a little bit easier what they think employment's going to do than real estate. So I would ask anyone that's listening that thinks that we're coming up for a crash, where do you think our employment's going? In our local market right here. And there's your answer, just as Britt says, that we're not going to see the market crash.
Well, and that I am speaking just from a Seattle perspective. I
of
do
course.
not follow real estate around the country, but for here, and our economic indicators are great employment, our technology sector. I mean, I just don't see it.
So if I'm listening right now, I'm thinking about, okay, I might be getting ready to sell my home because we might be towards the tippy top. We're not going for a crash anytime soon. So what can homeowners do to get their house sold in this market?
Well, now more than ever, because competition amongst homes is higher than it's been for years and years. So we have a little bit less buyers, but a lot more homes on the market. So you have to have your house completely prepared from top to bottom. It's never been more important because buyers are able to be picky. Shocking. And they are taking their time to look and make sure that they're making a savvy decision for themselves, because they also know that, hey, we're here at the top, but I still need a new place to live. So, making sure that your house is completely prepared. And then also it's time to start discounting for those flaws that, maybe 3-4 months ago you could have gotten away with. I'm hearing dark basements, arterial streets, flaws like not enough bathrooms on the proper floor. I mean, people are turning down houses for, what I would never have heard commentary like that 4 to 6 months ago. So. Yeah,
and we've had a couple contracts come over in the recent with contingent on their home selling. I've had a couple that have backed out during the inspection. It's like, what? Where did somebody get an opportunity to get an inspection without doing a free inspection? So yeah, it's interesting to be working and seeing that shift. So switching over, Keelan, asked you about sellers and really preparing to get top dollar. What about buyers? What are buyers doing? Are they out there seeing and excited about this opportunity? Or are they slowing up and getting in the market? What are you seeing with your buyers?
Well, they are being more picky, which is fantastic for them. It's a great opportunity to to take your time because, generally speaking, the offer review dates, no longer seeing those. So there's less pressure to get everything dialed in right before a certain date.
Yeah.
So buyers are taking their time, but there is also opportunity to do contingent offers, which you just talked about. I've been able to get 2 clients very recently into contingent homes. So it's making it a lot easier for buyers and sellers, if they're the same person, to be able to move forward with a whole lot less risk.
That's a great point because that was one thing that slowed the market up is, for listening, a contingent offer is basically you have a home to sell and you want to buy another home and you want to be able to go contingent on your offer getting accepted, not knowing if you're going to get a buyer on your home. So if for some reason you don't, you can back out and you're not out anything. You can be bumped by the seller if another offer comes in. But the problem and one of the issues that we had is just as you said, Britt, is as a seller, they couldn't get a contingent offer on their buy side. So then they were afraid to sell because what if they don't, what if they can't find another home? So we've eliminated that. And that's why when you talk about a balanced market, why it's no matter if you're a buyer or a seller, you really do want to be in a balanced market because it gives a balance for everyone. And so, I'm excited about our little shift in the market.
Yeah, it's coming back to normal-ish. I wouldn't say compared to the nation, but it's Seattle. It is what it is. So, Britt, let's talk about investment properties a little bit. I know there's a ton of people with the market. They've got a ton of equity, let's call it, or even a separate property. What about cashing out now, considering we're kind of at this possible peak of the market? What are your thoughts on that?
I've had about 3 different clients call me. Just very recently, hey, we gotta get this place sold now. What about my condo? I've been holding, and it's you have to look at each property differently, at each micro market, really. So, a conversation that I had with a seller that had a Queen Anne condo. Well, 1 month there was 2 active competitive properties, and then you look the next month and there's 20. Wow. So, in that particular case, it was let's rent for another year so that you're at this particular moment, let's keep it cash flowing.
Sure.
But if you're not cash flowing, I would definitely say this could be a really good time to offload. Most people are cash flowing though if they have an investment property.
Yeah. So, Britt, that crystal ball that you carry with you all the time, what is it saying to you that was going to happen last part of 2018?
Well, this is my gift, is my crystal ball. I'm only kidding. No one can see into the future, but what I can do is just tell what's been happening in the market from my experience, what I'm predicting. I think that a lot will be told come September because August is generally quite slow and September generally picks back up once school's back in session, et cetera. I do see a lot of stagnant listings, ones that people have priced their homes based off of multiple offer situations back in May and March. And so people are going to have to start getting real that, when there was only one person, when there was 10 people trying to buy one home, that end price is going to be a lot different than one person trying to buy one home. So I think we're going to have to see some price reductions on these homes that have been sitting on the market for 45 days based on old prices. So I do see price reductions happening, but I don't think that that's it's not saying that the market is crashing again to kind of loop back around. What it's saying is we're getting realistic. We're now selling one home to one buyer rather than the other way. So I think we'll see some price reductions, and I do think that things will continue to sell approximately at the same pace right now. I'd be pretty surprised if we end up having more than 2 to 3 months of inventory at any market here in Seattle.
Yeah. And, it's really great. I mean, the call to action, obviously buyers get out there. There's homes out there. You can get some deals. You can do some creative things and get your offer accepted. For a seller, great news is if you're a seller and you're going to be a buyer, most of the time you're buying up. This is a great market. It's a better market than where you came from before you sold your home because the more expensive house that you're going to buy, if if the market has slowed down a little bit, it's okay that you lose if you're selling for a little bit less because you're buying that more expensive one for a little bit less.
Absolutely.
So
you're buying and selling in the same market.
Yes.
So you're exactly what you said.
Yeah.
And I have seen over the last couple of years, people are just absolutely not willing to sell because there's nowhere to buy.
Exactly.
And now that's going to be changing too.
Yeah. So
I
great
do
news out
see
there.
some great things happening,
Yeah.
but also, it's this shift.
Yeah. Well, like you said, realistic, be real.
Yep.
Yeah.
Be real.
Love it. Thank you so much, Britt, for coming back in. Really appreciate your expertise and the wealth of knowledge that you have.
Well, I thank you for having me back.
Coming up next to the Money Hour, thinking outside the box in today's market, Deanna Barley with Keller Williams Realty Everett right here on 1150 AM KKNW after the short break.